Can you tell that I'm like anxious to start this? I understand about half of it. It's like cooking an egg. And like I was my own worst enemy. Hello everyone and welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Emma and today I will be starting on a journey of knitting a sweater for myself for the very first time. I am a beginner knitter, so this is pretty intimidating. And hopefully it all works out. So if you followed me for a bit, you know that I crocheted a sweater for myself back in the fall. And that turned out pretty well. I didn't use follow a written pattern or anything. I just found a tutorial on YouTube that I thought that I might like and followed along with that. And it wasn't a total train wreck, so great. But this time I'm going to do a few things differently. So this time I'm going to be following a written pattern, which I purchased on Etsy, and I will link that somewhere. And I'll be knitting instead of crocheting. So I'm going to be learning a lot. I've already had to Google like 15 terms. So any videos that I've found particularly helpful, I will link below as well. Like what is positive ease? Didn't know what that was before, and I still don't fully understand, but I kind of do. Enough that I can determine what size that hopefully I'm gonna make for myself. Hopefully it'll be a women's medium, and hopefully I won't have to start all over again. I haven't started yet. What I'm going to be using is Lion brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick. It is a super bulky number 6 weight yarn. I've worked with it before on projects like hats and things and really liked it, and I was like, well, this pattern calls for a chunkier yarn, so hopefully it'll, in theory, work up faster, so I won't totally just like give up halfway through. I also knit a Gage swatch for the first time, and then I kind of blocked it. I submerged it in water for 15 minutes and then laid it out to dry, and I think my gauge is right, so hopefully it is. What else did I want to say? Things that I have learned so far. Not every Etsy seller will let you know the size and materials of the things that you need before you buy the pattern. So I did not have the correct size knitting needles, so I bought a set. So these are number 19 or 15 millimeter. I think they're like 32 inches or something. So long enough for what the pattern says. But I did not anticipate having to buy that. I also had to buy these, where are they? These little like stopper things. Oh, focus. Ooh. So that I can put them on like the ends of the needles, so I can, in theory, try the sweater on as I go and not have the whole thing unravel on me. So fun times. Oh, my dishwasher's going. Okay. Yeah, so I ended up having to buy a lot more stuff than I originally thought. I originally thought that I would just have to like buy the pattern and the yarn. $95 later, I have all the things that I need. So yeah, it's been can you tell that I'm like anxious to start this? I'm super intimidated, but the only way to learn is to try new things. So that's what I'm gonna do. I've seen so many videos on YouTube of people just being like, oh, like I'm gonna knit a sweater for the first time, and like I'm just gonna like make up my own pattern, or I'm just gonna use whatever I have around the house. No, that's not me. My anxiety will just not let that happen. I'm just so intimidated by the whole process, and so I'm just like overanalyzing everything. So I just need to start and then just Google things as I go. I did read through the whole pattern start to finish. I understand about half of it, so there will be a lot of Googling going on. Yeah, I tip my hat to those people who can just like pick up and go. I'm just like so intimidated. Anyway, it's fine. I will learn a lot, and hopefully by the end of it, I'll get a cute sweater out of it. So yeah, I just want to try something new and give my perspective as an overthinker and a newbie. Got you. Alright, let's stop procrastinating and get started. Ooh. Hello. Several hours later, and let's have a look at what I've got done. So I finished the neck part. Yeah. I got a little, what's it called? Collar? Neck? Whatever. It's done. So one thing I will say is keeping tension using chunky yarn and thick needles and using the magic loop method is tricky. So I was starting to have like a kind of a bit of a gap between like where I joined in the round, but I think I fixed it. I'm gonna sleep on it and look. Oh my god, this camera's heavy. I'm gonna sleep on it and yeah, I'm gonna sleep on it and have a look again tomorrow. It's very stretchy because it's such a chunky knit, like I said, on such big needles. It's tricky. So there is some technical aspect for beginners. Be forewarned if you buy this pattern. There's a little bit of technique involved. But like I said, yeah, I'll have a look tomorrow or in a couple of days. Because the next part is like mapping out where the sleeves are going to be. And I feel like I need to eat dinner before that. So, do that and look back at it later. Yeah, so this is the spot where I started to lose tension, but then I got it back up here. There's a bit of laddering, but it was kind of laddering everywhere. These like little bars in between. It's called laddering. I learned that. So yeah, if there's one imperfection, like I'm fine with it. Because it's a handmade sweater. It's not supposed to be perfect. Alright, check back in later.
Several days later.
Okay. Where do I even start? Hello, everyone. It has been a minute. So, I've been making extremely slow progress with this sweater. Let's see what we have here. So, a little bit all tangly, but so far I have the neck collar and almost all of like the shoulder yoke done. It's hard because the the circular needles are plastic and they're new, so they're quite stiff. Anyway, I don't know what it is about knitting the sweater for the first time. I'm getting in my own head a lot. So I keep like, I think, overcomplicating things and building things up bigger in my head, and so then I get too scared. For the collar, the last clip I showed you, I was like, oh, the collar's not quite perfect, so maybe I'll redo it, maybe I won't. I ended up redoing it 3 times. And what was happening was I started my cast on, it was a long tail cast on with just like a slip knot, which is correct, it's a correct method of doing things. The knot that's made around like this size needle is very big, and then once it's knotted, it's unforgiving. So I kept having this big hole at the beginning of the sweater, and I was like, oh, that does not look right. So now I looked up a couple of other tutorials on how to start a cast on and not make, or like just better solutions for casting on, and I found one from Nimble Needles, and I'll link that video below, and he just like wrapped the yarn around the needle for the first like stitch rather than making a knot, and it works fine. There's still a little bit of a gap, but not nearly as big as what there was before. So by the third time I got it, and it took me a while to get my gauge right with this sweater, but I think mostly I'm just trying to be too much of a perfectionist with this, which is like not the point, you know? So I have to just keep reminding myself this is my first sweater and I need to like get over it. And also I'd never done left and right lifted increases before, and so when I was working along doing the increases for the shoulders, I was like, oh, does that look right? Is this how it's supposed to look? And the thing with this yarn is that, or this knitting pattern in general, the knitting pattern is great. It's well written. The only issues I've had have been like when I don't know like a new technique and I have to like pause, learn it, and then like figure out what's going on. But this sweater it's like cooking an egg. It sounds easy in theory, but your technique needs to be good if it is gonna like be even, and like because it's like a big yarn or like a chunky yarn, any kind of, if you make a mistake, it's glaringly obvious. So like working the magic loop for the collar, I had to really make sure that I was like rotating where I was pulling the yarn or the cable through to like, so that I didn't have like just one big gap where my tension wasn't right. Anyway, so that's where I am. So I need to be better. I haven't checked in a while because I was just like essentially freaking out, which is not how I should be approaching this. Anyway, I'm almost done my increases and for the yoke, and then it'll be time to add the sleeves. So I'm gonna stop procrastinating. Today my goal is to finish the increases and then learn and hopefully start the like armhole business. Anyway, that's my long-winded update. I will aim to be better to, oh, there goes the heater. I will aim to be better at providing updates. All right, let's get cracking. Hello there. This is what we've got so far. So I made the body longer than what the pattern recommended because it seemed to be quite cropped. So I think this is good for me, and now I'm just gonna bind off. I tried trying the sweater on once before and it was bad. So the sleeves are being held in place here. Just hang on, I'm gonna fix the camera. Yeah, so I'm gonna bind off. I tried trying the sweater on before and it was kind of a nightmare because the length of circular needles that I have is a little bit snug to get around my body. And then the sleeves are just held with scrap yarn. And I forgot about trying it on, and so I tied it a wee bit tight. So it was like cutting off circulation and it looked all like scrunched, like a bunched, like, I don't know what you call it, like a peasant sleeve, which is not the look you're going for. Bless you! And yeah, I could barely get it around myself with the length of the circular needles. So I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, hoping that this size works out. I've been like holding it against like t-shirts that I know fit and other sweaters, and there's nothing that I own that's quite like this, so we shall see how it all works out. But I think this is the last update that I'll do, because theoretically all I have left to do is just bind off the bottom, which I'm going to do today, and then add the sleeves. So hopefully I'll be done by early next week and I can get this video out. Anyway, that's it. I'm in much better spirits because after doing like the yoke part, it was pretty smooth sailing. It was just like straight like knitting all the way down. So that's been really good to just like listen to the like an audiobook while I'm doing it, or throw on a YouTube video or whatever. So there's a little bit, I think, of shaping in the sleeves that I'll need to do, and I need to learn a new method of casting off, but that's okay. It's like 75% done, so exciting. All right, see you later. And there it is. I played yarn chicken and won. That was all that was left of my yarn ball with the bind off. Most nerve-wracking experience of my life. Also, if anyone's wondering what this is, I put in with some scrap yarn a lifeline, so in case things don't work out, if I don't like how the bind off looks, anything like that, I can just rip back and this will save the stitches and I can fix it. Alright, onto the sleeves. I am done! The sweater is done. I'm wearing it today. I didn't wet block it. I am just too impatient for that, and I wanted to get the video up. So I have some notes here, and I'm gonna be, if I'm looking down, I'm just checking my notes to make sure I hit all the highlights for you guys. This project was definitely a balance of perfectionism versus accuracy. Ooh, no, sweater fuzzies on me. So I like redid the collar a bunch of times, and that was just me like getting my technique down. The body part, like from under the arms down, was like the biggest section of the sweater, but it actually went the fastest for me, probably because it was just like going around in circles again and again. You didn't have to do any increasing or anything. Yeah, and it went really well because I was just like mindless knitting. It was great. I did end up making the sweater a bit longer than the pattern recommended because I didn't want something super duper cropped, and I wasn't sure at first because I have wider hips, so I didn't want it to kind of like bunch awkwardly around my hips, but this sweater has lots of positive ease, and so it's great. I'd say that the sizing is definitely on point from the pattern, and yeah, it's really great. So what did I like about the sweater, the process, everything? It's so cozy. It's like just being in a hug. I feel like I'm gonna need to take a nap every time I wear it because it's just so cozy and squishy, and I love it, and so soft. The yarn I used is like a wool acrylic blend because I am slightly allergic to wool, so hopefully the the acrylic will like even it out and I won't break out in hives every time I wear it. I just like the like it's just a simple, elegant sweater. Like I'll probably wear it mostly with jeans, but I might just like wear it around the house with leggings. Like it's just so comfy, cozy, and it was pretty easy to work up. The pattern was really, really well written. So the first time I tried, I read through the whole pattern, like start to finish before I even started, and that was super overwhelming. I don't really recommend that. At least like for me, I learned about myself that was like, it was kind of good, but also kind of intimidating because I didn't know a lot of the terms that were used in making the pattern. So reading it all at first was kind of overwhelming, but when I broke it down as I went, it was a lot easier. And that's just me and my learning style. So it was like collar, the yoke, or like the shoulders, the body, and then the arms. So yeah, it was, once I broke it down, it seemed a lot less scary. Yeah. Oh, and I really liked that it was made with chunky yarn, so it really worked up super quick. I could have probably knit the sweater in like a week if that's like all I did day in, day out. But I just kept like doubting myself and getting intimidated, and like I was my own worst enemy in that sense. So yeah, but I got through it, and now I'm done. I have a beautiful finished sweater. So happy. Okay, so things that I didn't like about the sweater pattern, the process, the whole thing. The pattern designer did link videos for tutorials for her channel for some of the like techniques used throughout the pattern. So like increases, decreases, binding off and stuff, but she did it as like a YouTube short, and she didn't talk in some of them. She just kind of showed you what she was doing, and that's just not my learning style. The videos are great and they're short, so if you just want to like, this is what I need to know and this is how I do it, great. But like I need someone who is like talking me through it and showing me and going slowly. So once I watched a couple other videos from other creators and then went back to hers, I was like, oh, now I get it. So I linked a bunch of tutorials that I found useful down below, because yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube in this process. Oh, my camera's freaking out. Oops. I found it pretty difficult to get the tension right with this yarn and the size needles that I used. Like the front, like what I'm using as the front, it's the same front and back, but one side of the sweater is like beautiful and the other side like has some weird lumps in it, and like that might be fixed with blocking, and I'm just too impatient to do that yet, because it's mostly fine. But yeah, and it's not even like where I joined yarn or woven ends. There's just some like weird things that I don't quite understand what happened, but it's fine. It's just for me. It's a learning process. The decreases in the arm, which side is it? You can see, you can kind of see it. I'll insert some footage so you can really see it. Some of the decreases are very obvious. Like when I had the project on the needles, it looked fine. Like I could see where the decreases were, but I knew what I was looking for. And then once I put it on, I was like, oh god, those are like glaringly obvious. Ooh. So that's a me problem. That's a me needing to work on my technique problem, and hopefully I will get better with practice. The one spot that I really had like the most difficulty was attaching the arms. I tried 2 different things on each arms, and you can kind of tell like there's like holes from where you joined, and that again, that's me needing to learn. There were no videos linked in the pattern for how to like pick up stitches, and when I tried looking there, I couldn't really find anything that I was particularly looking for. So it was a bit of a flying by the seat of my pants moment. And it turned out the arms are attached. They're not going anywhere, and no one's gonna be looking under my arms every day when I wear the sweater. So it's fine, but yeah, it was kind of weird. Anyway, overall though, I absolutely love the sweater. Like, I want to wear it all the time. I think it's so cozy and so chic and so easy to style and just like wear, and you know it's gonna be comfy, cozy, and it's gonna look cool, and I can be like, I made this myself, all by myself with my 2 bare hands. So I think it's a good pattern for like an intermediate beginner. So like in my knitting journey, I've like started with like dishcloths and scarves, and then I did hats for like knitting in the round. So if you've done those things and mastered them, I think that this is a great project for you. Like, you'll learn a lot. And it's really not as bad as I made it out to be. Yeah, I think the biggest barrier through this whole process has been me and my own self-doubt. Whenever I kind of like lost momentum or lost traction or got distracted, it was mostly because I was like, oh, this is so hard, like I don't want to do it anymore. But really it was fine. It was just, I just needed to keep swimming, keep going, and like tell myself like, it's okay, like you're learning, that's the point, right? You need to just practice these skills. The only way to learn is to try, and you have to just keep trying, and that's the practice. You're just gonna keep practicing and get better with time. Everyone starts somewhere. So if you are also wanting to like knit a sweater or try a new project, or you got stuck, like, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And maybe find someone in your community that can help you if you really need someone like there who can help you, who knows more than me or the internet. So that's enough rambling for one day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed this process, and I'm going to learn a lot more this year. Knitting, crocheting, sewing. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any favorite like beginner or intermediate beginner projects that you have loved, let me know in the comments down below. I'm always looking for something new to try. Anyway, take care everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.